Hello and welcome back to a live Seismic Cinema podcast. So grab some crabs, put your feet up on a white stag, and prepare to catch up on 2 episodes because I wasn't feeling well last week.
No, you're looking much better than you were last week anyway.
Is it because my couch is in a different position?
Yeah, possibly.
You can see it.
Well, it's good to be back in the old podcasting game anyway. I'm actually, like I was saying before, I'm actually quite nervous about it. I feel out of practice just talking about a show that I've watched.
And my cats are going to be running around in circles because they've spotted some kind of insect on the wall. So yes, you can see.
It makes a change from my dogs barking the house down. So it's your turn to get tormented.
They're not going to make any noise though. Hello, viewer.
It's probably Scarlett. She'll probably be going. I said to her, you can jump on and just tell us how wrong we are the whole time, or just berate us the whole time.
Okay, we'll get. Oi! My cat's literally on top of the television. Down. Oh man! He literally jumped on top of the flat screen telly. Oh, that was terrifying. Right. Anyway, so
see even that happens to you. Is this like see this feeling of you're a diddy? Is that how you feel when I'm doing this with my dogs?
I'm just scared of my TV's going to break or my cat's going to hurt itself.
No. You give up the podcasting game if your TV gets broken.
I know. I just need to keep an eye on them. Right. Anyway, so we're going to spoiler review, the second and third episodes of The House of the Dragon. I think I'm going to have to do this on the move so I can keep an eye on them so they don't knock the TV down.
Mobile podcasting, you got a new skill set.
Yep. Right,
Don't run out of range of your Wi-Fi.
What's that?
Don't run out of range of your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a bit nervous. I don't want a flat screen TV toppling. But anyway, we should probably get into it. So we did a review a couple of weeks ago of the first episode of House of the Dragon, and I wasn't feeling well. I had the cold last week, so we missed that one. So we're going to do a review of 2, then 3, but to be honest, we'll probably start meshing them all together. Quick non-spoiler thoughts, just to be inclusive.
Oh, non-spoiler thoughts. Curveball. I'm still really loving it. It's not as action-packed as I thought it was going to be. So, like, I thought there was going to be more action sporadically through it, but it just seems to be like one main bit kind of per episode. But overall, I'm enjoying the kind of the political games as always.
We all know I'm the polar opposite to you, so the lack of action doesn't bother me that much because I think we know in true Game of Thrones style, the big action will probably come in the second last episode.
Yeah, probably. Just keep me watching till then.
As is the classic, and I am loving the political intrigue and the Game of Thrones really.
Yeah, and anyone that's listening on Spotify when this is all recorded and done and dusted, probably your character is the most kind of most politically intriguing scumbag of them all, Otto.
The little finger of the piece.
Yeah, it's quite sad. I thought he was going to be like the kind of the good guy of the bunch, and then he just went right downhill. He's in it for his own gain.
Yeah. So, also, the first episode didn't have the same opening as the second episode. So, what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, do you mean the opening title?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really notice in the first episode that it didn't have one, but yeah. So is that the model that Viserys is building throughout and that's like old. Is that old Valyria or something?
You're pushing my Game of Thrones knowledge to the limit there, I think. But if anyone's viewing and knows the answer, because there's 5 people on at the moment, so if you know the answer, then let us know. Don't run away, please. Oh, one of them's gone. So it was quite cool the way it was really great to have the Game of Thrones music back. Me and Aileen are rewatching Game of Thrones season 1 right now. So, and it's so good. You would just forget how good it is. and it's pretty cool the way the kind of blood kind of floats through the opening title in the new show.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the wee symbols were throughout the opening title, but I think they're just symbols of like the members of House Targaryen or something. I think.
Yeah.
Is that your cats again?
Yeah, so I'll just keep an eye on them. So, yeah, we get bored quickly of non-spoiler thoughts, so we can get right into the spoilers, and we'll start with episode 2. We're not going to fall into previous traps, Paul. We swore we're not going to go beat by beat through every episode, A, because I can't remember it, and B, because that was our worst ever episode, wasn't it?
Oh, well, we say that about every episode. And most of our episodes are the worst we've ever done.
The Book of Boba Fett, whatever episode it was, that was our worst by far. It was the finale, wasn't it?
No, because we did that with Daniel. Oh no, we didn't. We did the ranking with Daniel, didn't we? It was
the finale we totally butchered, yeah.
Yeah, I had 3 pages of notes and I felt like I was reading off a script.
I know.
Terrible.
I did so much preparation. Well, let's get into this. Let's not get hemmed down by that. So, episode 2, where do we start?
Well, this was probably the most political one of the 3 so far, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't really an action set piece at all. It was just setting up a lot of wee side stories, and it was kind of showing Daemon's rebellious side.
My favourite episode out of the 3, I would say, by the way, so far.
Was it actually?
I found it on you go.
I was saying, I kind of finished episode 2 and I was kind of like, not really much. Oh, for me, action-wise, not much happened, but obviously in the grand scheme of things, a lot did happen.
It was the most gripping for me. Every single conversation, every single scene, I was like on the edge of my seat, just waiting to see what would happen next.
Yeah. Well, this was the one where they're trying to get Viserys to marry off, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the King Viserys' wife had died horrifically, and may I add, at the end of the previous episode, and then his son died pretty much instantly, and he pronounced Rhaenyra as his successor. And then this episode, we said, was 6 months afterwards.
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah.
So there was a storm starting to brew, wasn't there? In the crab? What do they call it?
What, in the Stepping Stones?
Stepping Stones. What did they call it? The Crablands.
Yeah, so the Stepping Stones was the kind of main shipping lanes, wasn't it? It was getting attacked by the pirates that were full of like mercenaries and stuff, led by my character, the crab feeder.
Can I just say he doesn't say a word in 2 episodes, but still one of the best villains.
Give him an Oscar.
Did you notice the Game of Thrones disease that he has?
The disease. Oh, is that the one that Jorah had? No.
Yeah, grayscale.
Is that what that was? I thought he'd been burnt. I thought he was burned or something. I thought that's what that was.
Because you remember when Jorah got grayscale, he got it when he went to the old. What's the place called? I'm better than this normally, but what's the place called?
What, the Citadel?
Valyria.
Volantis? No.
Valyria?
I think it was Volantis or Valyria. I can't really remember.
Did Jorah not go there? And that's where he caught grayscale off like people with really severe grayscale.
I thought Valyria was destroyed. Is that?
He went somewhere though, because that's where he caught it.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm sure some Game of Thrones nut could fill us in there. So there's a battle going on. The Viserys is getting a lot of pressure to get remarried. He's not very keen. He seems like quite a decent guy.
Although, yeah, he just doesn't seem to go. I don't know. He doesn't seem to communicate very well with people right enough. Like, it seems like he's trying to do the right thing, but it doesn't come across that he's trying to do the right thing.
There was a scene where someone basically said he's not very good at being a king, essentially.
Yeah, was it not Damon? Did he not say that? No.
Probably. Do you not love that Damon basically slags Viserys off constantly, and then as soon as someone else does it, he's like, "That's my brother. You can't do that."
Well, it's proper brother. Oh, actually, no. I would let anyone slag off my brother as well.
if David's watching this,
yes, I would totally agree.
So they're pressuring him to remarry, and there is a potential suitor in play. Not John Suitor, he's injured.
Oh, you bring up the Rangers again, are you?
Yeah, Paul, just let it go. On you go.
Yep.
Have your moment.
So what are we talking about there?
So he's got a potential marriage proposal, not proposal, like possible wedding to be arranged.
Yeah, it's super uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah. So it says cousin's daughter.
Yeah, and she's what, 12 or something?
Yeah, the way they like revealed that was quite well done though, because it was like a long shot of the gardens and he's like out a walk with her.
Yeah, it's just so weird. I was watching it, I was just going, ugh, this is weird. Even for Game of Thrones, this is weird.
I know. But it seems like in the Game of Thrones, well, I would say it was like accepted in the Game of Thrones world, but obviously Viserys still didn't really feel comfortable with it. There was not a line where he just went, "She's 12" or something like that.
Yeah. Instead, he upgraded to, was it Alicent, who's 15?
Yeah, so I saw. I know it's probably quite obvious to everyone watching, but I saw that coming from like the first episode where she was sent to talk to him.
Oh yeah, that was definitely coming because of your bloody dirty character Otto scheming.
He's winning the Game of Thrones at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you not think though there was like a genuine, quite kind of heartfelt connection between them? Like it was total friendship vibes, but they did seem to get on quite well.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was just maybe an act just to get in his good graces. Like, I don't know where she's playing a really good game as well.
Yeah, because she seems quite content in episode 3 once things develop a bit further.
Because like Paddy Considine, his hairline is awful.
I think that's good. About Viserys, he's probably, well, the nice people in Game of Thrones don't tend to last very long, but he's probably not long for the world, we could say.
Yeah, because he's got bits and pieces falling off him.
Yeah, I didn't really notice them when they were happening because I'm not that observant, but in reviews I watched, I think he's like lacking some fingers in episode 3.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I seen the memes the next day, and he was like missing his 2 fingers from there or something. I can't see my camera. I like those fingers. Yeah. And then I think there was somebody said there was a bit where the green screen didn't work or something, and he's got like green bits wrapped around his fingers that are meant to be missing.
Yeah,
you see him. But yeah, so there's that, and Rhaenyra gets named as the next heir, like you were saying, which is quite a big deal because I don't think anyone's really accepting of her because she's a woman basically, and so then it goes. So then everyone's hoping for him to get married and have a new male heir, and I feel like pretty much all the animosity that becomes between like Viserys and Rhaenyra's, like I feel it's unnecessary because like Viserys should be like reassuring her all the time that she's not going to get replaced, but it seems like years go by and they don't talk, and just tell her that she's not getting replaced.
They're not very good at communicating, which is quite obvious. There is a really good scene between Rhaenyra and the Queen that never was. They had quite a good discussion when Viserys was out on his play date.
Aye. It's pretty.
So she was
Um,
basically talking about how she felt, how she wasn't allowed to be queen, and basically saying no one will ever accept Rhaenyra, or I'm probably saying her name wrong if I'm honest. There's earlier scenes, isn't there, where she's kind of at the council meetings, but she's not really been taken seriously or been allowed to take part.
who or Rhaenyra
Yeah.
or Rhaenyra. Aye. We lassie.
Can we
Yes.
edit that bit out?
I don't know. I'm getting so confused with all these Renaras and all that now.
Renee, I don't know. Someday watching somewhere can tell us, I'm sure.
Rhaenyra.
Yeah. So she's been quite excluded from the meetings.
Yeah. But she does seem to be. She seems to be like a woman of action. Like she wants things to get done. She has actually pretty good like tactical ideas.
Yeah.
And is willing to kind of go that wee extra mile to like get the job done. Which I quite like about her. She's stubborn, but she's not afraid to go and do the business.
Which she does later in the episode, which we can get to. But she does get given one task, which is to choose like the new Kingsguard.
Oh yeah, because the Lord Commander, not a lot, the Lord Commander, the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard died in his sleep. So they had to pick a new one, and she got the task of picking it.
Yes, and she chose. I'm not going to try and guess his name, but she chose Sir Criston.
Sir Criston Cole,
who in episode 3, I think there's a wee bit of a potential romance blooming there, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think they kind of set that up in the first episode, didn't they? Because he was jousting, and he got a favour off her Rhaenyra. You know, you kind of wreath.
Yeah, and it seems he seems too nice for the world, so he's probably going as well.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get ganked pretty soon, yeah.
So that's all happening. The main bit of this episode is the Daemon, who is portrayed magnificently. He has stolen a dragon egg and ran away. He's claimed Dragonstone, and he's taken a second wife.
Yeah, he's taking the woman from the brothel. And he stole a dragon egg, and did he not set up a fake wedding to try and draw Viserys out?
Yeah, so I tried to get Viserys to go, but Otto wouldn't let him go. Yeah. So then Otto took some, like, the Kingsguard, etc., and they went and they met on the Wall of Dragonstone, which is in Game of Thrones season 7 and 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they have a wee head-on confrontation, and I'm actually quite surprised. I didn't think Otto would go. I thought Otto would be too much into self-preservation to even think about going there, because like they obviously know that he's got a dragon, so
yeah,
like they would have no chance, because Viserys had pretty much banned any of his dragon riders from going.
Yeah, it was a very tense scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought they were all going to get roasted. I felt bad for Sir Criston.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to go already.
It was tense, but nothing really happened in the end. But I think that was good, because I don't think you need a big full battle at that stage.
Yeah, it was just kind of a wee opening battle of words, really, because young Rhaenyra comes and saves the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was quite surprised when she turned up, but she does seem to have like a decent relationship with him. I don't really see him harming her as such.
Yeah, not until later on, I'd imagine. Once it gets a bit tense, I think.
Maybe. And the kind of end of the second episode is, and I don't think I'm some kind of genius seer into the future, but I saw him marrying Alicent. I saw that happening.
Yeah, and then that causes the split between him and the Sea Snake,
and him and his daughter.
Yeah, you could just see her fuming.
Do you know? I think all the problems in this episode could have been solved just by actually communicating. See if he just said, "Well," see if he like told her he was going to marry her best friend, which is really weird to think about. That's like, yeah, I'm not going to give an example from us, but that'd be like you marrying my mum or something. That
Is that available?
you better hope Stuart's not watching this, by the way. He does. He does sometimes. Your number could be up.
Kidding on, Uncle Stu.
I love how we did this live stream. There's been people watching it, but we haven't had a single comment yet. Come on, someone give us a comment. Lighten up our Thursday evening.
Nah,
That
don't.
one-
It would just be abuse.
That one person that's watching right now. Oh, you're away now, but that was good of you to visit. Right, so that's still what we're doing the live stream, having the banter with the invisible viewers. It's good fun. So yeah, so Viserys ends the episode essentially by saying that he's going to marry Alison Hightower.
Yep.
It's not Alison, is it? Is that her name? That seems very normal.
Alicent.
Yes, that one. Alicent. Okay, on to episode 3, which I've only watched once, but yeah, again, another solid episode, I would say. Mixture this time of action and the intrigue in the middle. I think you should handle. We could just maybe talk about the start and end points of the battle scenes.
Sure.
I think you should lead that. You're the action man.
Action man. Yeah. So, well, no, because it starts off with the King's Hunt, doesn't it? Really?
No, it starts off with the battle. I'm sure. Yeah, because the dragon's going flying about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it's at night time, isn't it? That's when the Crab Feeder's army are nailing poor sailors to the posts to get eaten by crabs, and then you just see this big beam of fire coming from is it Cyrax? No, is that Renard? I can't remember which one's which now. But anyway, from Daemon's dragon, and there's one wee guy.
I saw somewhere that that's not Daemon's dragon.
What, the red one? Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so there's a guy getting eaten by crabs, and he's like, "Oh, my prince will come and kill you all," blah 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 blah. And then a big beam of fire comes out. Everyone starts running away to their caves. Daemon is raging. He's like, "Oh, come out and face me, crab feeder king." And then he lands down and squashes the prisoner that was like, "Prince, come save me!"
He
lands on him.
He thought he was about to get saved there, didn't he?
Yep. And instead, he just got made into more fish hoods. And that was so. Was that the kind of start of the campaign when he first arrived?
I think we're better talking about the end one at the end, so we can, the end battle. But that seems more logical. So this is 3 years in the future. So the battle in Crabland has been going on for 3 years.
Yeah, and it's Prince Daemon, and he's had an alliance with the Sea Snake because
at the end of episode 2.
Yeah, Lord Corlys and his house have gone to war with Daemon against the Crab Feeder because he's split away from the crown.
You've done quite well with names in this episode. I'm impressed.
Oh, you see that? I'm just making them up.
No, you got that right because I looked up the Wikipedia article beforehand. So this is all kind of set around the Game of Thrones style birthdays, which they call name days. So is it Aegon?
Yeah.
So Viserys has finally got his son called Aegon, which is the spoilers for Game of Thrones. That's the name that Jon Snow's real name, isn't it?
Yes, I think you're right in that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the names do tend to recycle because King Viserys, he's got an unfortunate descendant in Daenerys' brother.
Yes, the Egypt. it gets his head melted.
We just watched that episode like a couple of nights ago.
Did you?
It's
I
still as glorious as ever.
was going to say, is it still satisfying?
I'm really interested to see one of our Twitter friends, I can't remember what the channel was, that there's a House of the Dragon spoiler in Game of Thrones season 3 or something.
Oh, it was Cody from Dungeons and Podcasts.
Yeah, so I don't want to know what it is, but I hope to look back on it one day.
Yeah, it'd be quite good to go back and see the kind of similarities and see, because they do talk about the Targaryen kind of house a lot, but you never really take notice of it because, when you're watching Game of Thrones the first time, because you never thought you were going to go back to it.
Rewatching Game of Thrones is brilliant though, because when you know all the names, and when you're first watching it, there's so many characters that it's kind of hard to keep track. But when you're rewatching it, you recognize all the names, and it does add those kind of extra layers to it.
Yeah, I've been watching the wee reels you get on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching them most of them Game of Thrones stuff, and it's just wee clips of Tyrion absolutely ripping into everybody. He gets the best lines, and he just owns it. It's so good. It's so good.
I forgot how early Bronn comes into. Bronn's in within the first kind of 5 episodes of season 1.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we never did our impressions.
We're going off. We'll do them at the end. We're going off on a Game of Thrones tangent here. So it's Prince Aegon's name day. They're having a big party, and
A royal hunt.
Yes, and hunts and subsequent boars. They are not the best thing you want to come across in Westeros.
Yes, the big king killer pigs.
Yeah, so they're meant to be going out to hunt. There's a white boar they were looking for.
A white
stag.
They found the trail of a white stag.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just go out and try and find anything, but they've came across the trail of a white stag.
Yeah, and they ultimately don't find it because Viserys goes out and tries to take out some kind of creature, but Renee is whatever her name is, and she finds it later on.
Yeah, so the king's huntsmen, they find just a normal stag. Yeah, by the way, see that stag, even though it's CGI, I felt so bad for that stag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I hate I'm seeing when Scarlett was watching it, she was like, "Is this stag going to get killed?" So we paused it. And she was like, "Right, okay, I'm going to go downstairs. Just tell me when it's over." And I watched it. I felt like if you do feel I don't know, I feel kind of bad watching it.
It's like when the start of Game of Thrones, the mountain just takes out a horse for no reason.
Yeah. It's I felt bad for the CGI stag. I'm just getting soft in old age.
So basically, Renee is, we'll sort her name out for the next one we do. She basically runs away in a huff because she's sick of her dad giving the baby all the attention.
And trying to marry her off as well to creepy Lannisters.
So it was good good in a weird way to see a Lannister, wasn't it?
Yeah. And what is it with the Lannisters and twins?
He's a twin as well.
I think he's up to mischief for his twin.
Yeah, because I think we see his twin in the previous episode.
Oh, I thought I seen him earlier in the episode. I didn't realize it was because his twin's got slightly shorter hair, and he was saying to King Viserys about sending reinforcements to Stones.
So Renee is getting annoyed at the kind of marriage proposals because apparently there's been loads of marriage proposals that keep getting thrown towards Viserys, but obviously he's trying to find the kind of tactical advantage, and the Lannisters are obviously very rich and they have the high ground essentially with their property.
Yeah. Casterly Rock, but yeah, she did the right thing. It was just creepy the way an old guy is just talking to this wee girl, could could be my wife, blah 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 blah, and it's just like, ugh.
Well, the characters in Game of Thrones are really aged up. Like Daenerys is only meant to be like 13, 14. I think Jon Snow is only meant to be like 16. No, 14. So the
hard paper end up at the wall.
yeah. So there's a lot going on at the party. Alison's pregnant again, by the looks of it as well.
She is, yes. And all the women are gossiping, and everyone's expecting the young Aegon to be named as heir.
Mm-hmm.
They're just expecting it, aren't they?
One of the older ladies that's in that kind of conversation, she's apparently like a predecessor to, what's her name? Tyrell, Olenna.
Yeah, okay.
One of the ladies she was talking to. So yeah, apart from the action scenes at the start and end, this one was a lot more about the kind of the plotting. But Rhaenyra runs away. She arrives back in quite a dramatic way as well.
Yeah, because so her and Sir Criston, Sir Criston chases after her when she leaves, and they end up spending the night out in the woods. And yeah, that's when the boar attacks Sir Criston, and together they take down the boar, and they go back into camp, and she looks like a total badass because she's like covered in blood, just walking in like nothing's happened.
She got a wee bit carried away, didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be mad. I'm trying to nap and a pig just comes out and
taking all their frustrations out. So for anyone, we've got a couple of viewers at the moment. We'd love to hear people's views on House of the Dragon. We're nearing the end of our review of episode 3, so we'd love to hear your thoughts and any predictions for the future and any random book knowledge that people have. I'd love to read the book that this is based on, but I'd be too scared of spoilers right now, so I think I'll wait till like the show's done, probably. Maybe check it out.
Yeah, I would read it, but
you can't read, right? I'll tell you what happens.
Aye, tell us what happens. Aye, that'd be good. Cheers, bud.
So, just try. I feel like there probably is more that goes on. We'll talk about the end bit soon. But was there anything else in the kind of main point that happens? Not really. Not I can think of.
I don't think so. I think is it that point where Viserys says to Rhaenyra that she doesn't have to marry? Or was it after the battle? Wasn't it?
Yeah. So Viserys is still quite clear that he wants her to be the heir. And no, he basically said you can choose who to marry. So that was setting up her and the knight.
Yeah. But I feel like that could have been said any time in those 3 years that they haven't really talked.
But drama, Paul.
I know, but still. And then I think that leads on to the battle, doesn't it?
No, I peeked at that Wikipedia article again. There was another important point. There was a suggestion that she married the son of the cousin, the Corlys's son.
Oh, right, yeah, the one that was fighting in the Stepping Stones.
Yeah. I couldn't quite remember who he was, but I think we did see him in maybe episode 1.
Yeah, I think he was at the jousting, I think. Just sitting about. I don't think he said it really.
And although it's weird, you can kind of understand why the Targaryens like married within themselves, because it basically means nobody else gets near the throne or near power.
Nah, still weird.
No, it's still weird, but that's obviously why they do it, is to keep the Targaryens in charge and not let anyone else weasel in.
Yeah. And then I seen something that was like, it was like when the Targaryens inbreed, like they end up like looking like what's her face, Daenerys, and then when it happens in the world, it's like the guy at the Guineas.
Yes, definitely. So moving on to the end battle. Again, you're the action man. So, yeah. What were your thoughts on? I've got some thoughts on the battle, but we'll hear yours first.
I liked the battle, but I felt like it was maybe a bit silly.
I think you're maybe. Can I guess? Did you think the fact that he managed to dodge so many arrows was a bit silly?
I thought mainly the fact that he managed to dodge so many arrows, implausible, but if he's running fast enough, it
He
might
can
have.
zigzag.
And the archers are quite far away, so they need to lead. So maybe. The other point was the crab feeder seemed to send out like pretty much his whole army just to get Damon. Like they're all hiding in the cave safe, and
Yeah.
then when Damon was hiding, they sent out like everybody, which I thought was a bit weird. Like you'd send out a portion of your guys, you wouldn't send out everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other point was when the dragon appears, surely your archers would scatter like immediately. But the archers stayed where they were on the hilltop, and
Yeah.
the dragon came around and got them as well after getting the guys in the ground. But basically, so all that comes about is because this war's been raging on for 3 years, and was it Alicent convinced Viserys to send some of the Targaryen army to help
Yeah.
him?
I was going to say that there. He ultimately does decide. He was originally not going to because he thought it would show a lack of power, but he decides to send reinforcements. But that's what basically makes Damon be like, "No, I don't want your help," and he just goes and does it himself.
Yeah. Is it right that he doesn't say it in this whole episode?
Yeah, well, he's not in it a lot, I suppose.
Yeah. So basically, he beats the crap out of the messenger.
Yeah, he kind of tricks them and gets there in the end, and he cuts your guy in half.
Yeah. So he gets through at the end, and then it was the cousin, wasn't it? The one that they wanted Rhaenyra to marry, the Corlys cousin, the Corlys son. He's riding the dragon. I did think that the CGI looked a bit kind of weird on that. Him riding it, but yeah. So Damon, because they're talking about it in a wee plan beforehand that they need to send somebody out to bait the crab feeder out, and then Damon just rolls out, pretends he's surrendering, and then he cuts through a few guys, starts making a beeline for the crab feeder. Crab feeder sends out all his guys after Damon takes a few arrows, and then the cousin swoops in with the dragon and turns the tide, and then Damon's army comes in as well to reinforce. But and then Damon makes it into the tunnels, cuts my guy in half. I felt a wee bit kind of. I felt a wee bit cheated that you didn't see him fight the crab feeder.
See, every time you say crab feeder, I keep thinking of like a bird feeder you'd have in the garden.
Yeah, just some wee pellets to feed some crabs in the beach.
It's kind of weird that battle was going on so long, wasn't it? When it was just like
It could have just done that.
I didn't know that there was a lot of people involved, really.
Yeah, because there was meant to be 700 of the Sea Snakes men, and they had like 60 knights. And the only reason they weren't doing very well was because I think they're running out of food. And I think the Sea Snake's brother was starting to sow some seeds of mutiny against Damon. So hopefully with this win under his belt, he'll be able to leverage some power of Viserys and hopefully, I don't know, cause some more trouble in the capital.
Yeah, I find shows like this quite hard to like make predictions because I think there's always so many twists and turns. But I'm looking forward to it. Still 7 episodes left, so there's a long way to go in the first season.
Yeah, and like you're saying, was it you were saying about there's a lot of time skips coming up as well?
Yeah, because the Rhaenyra's we're getting it wrong. She's replaced by another actress.
See, I don't want that to happen because I quite like the cast as it is now.
I like all the cast. I think they've done a really good job just with this show in general. There's not a lot like I thought Damon managing to dodge so many arrows was a wee bit unrealistic, but I suppose he did get hit by a couple as well. So
Yeah,
there was that.
I think like when it comes to like arrows like that, like nobody's that accurate. Like it's all volume hoping to get like a big army.
Katniss
So if you
Everdeen,
try to hit one man that's running at speed, then it'd probably be pretty hard.
Katniss Everdeen.
She had the she had futuristic arrows.
Well, I think that's us covered the 2 episodes now. It was a shame we couldn't do this last week, but I literally could barely speak the same last week. So it's probably for the best to have a little rest and get reinvigorated again.
Yeah. So see, like you're talking about predictions. Do you have any that you think are going to happen? Like, is there anything that you want to happen at least?
I don't want it to happen, but Viserys is clearly going to die in the near future, you would say.
How many bits and pieces do you think are going to fall off?
All of them.
All of them. And is it because he cut himself on the throne?
Was that Hugo?
Is it because he's cut himself on the throne that he's not worthy of the throne?
That I don't know if he's not worthy of the throne, but I think the throne is just dangerous in general because it's a different type of. It's very different to the game. There's a lot more swords involved, isn't there, in this one?
Yeah, I think it was said in Game of Thrones. I think somebody said it in passing or something about the throne. You need to watch the throne because if you're not worthy, it'll cut you or something.
I don't know if that was just like a myth or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they have it.
So I think eventually, I don't know how it will happen, but I think Aegon will be announced as the heir, or maybe when he's older and he realizes he should be there. Maybe there's, do you know what I mean? Maybe there's an older actor that plays Aegon.
Yeah, I wonder if like Alison's having another baby, and like obviously this time skip's going to happen. I don't know how far along it's going to go, but maybe this other baby's going to have some sort of big impact as well.
Yeah.
See, the people that know the Game of Thrones lore and all that, they'll probably watch this going like, these guys have not a clue what they're talking about.
The people who know what they're talking about won't be watching.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, and we've got a wee watch coming up. We're going to check out Rogue One again ahead of Andor, aren't we?
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably need to do it solo though because the missus hates Rogue One. She says it's her worst Star Wars movie, and it makes me sad beyond belief.
I know how much you love it. It's in our Star Wars movie ranking if you want to check that one out. We don't know where to put the things yet. We've got an intro now sometimes, but it's good to do that.
When it's not copyright.
Yes. So yeah, we're not going to make too many bold promises for when videos are coming out at the moment. We're having a wee bit of a tactical rethink about the channel, aren't we? Just in terms of where we want to go. So this one's live. It'll be available for people to check out. But hopefully we'll get a few more new stuff coming up in the near future.
Yep. So hopefully next time around, if we're ever doing this live, we will maybe have some beneficial changes or something different.
Yes, we'll be sharing some ideas once I've actually shared some ideas with Paul and see what he says.
Yeah.
So Paul, do you have any of your podcast shout-outs? Want to give a shout-out to any of our friends of the channel?
No, I hate everyone.
You hate everyone. You don't have to do that many, but do you have any you'd like to just give a wee shout-out to?
Well, I've been listening to quite a few this week. The one I listened to most recently, I think you'd probably really enjoy it actually. It was the Moisture Farm Report.
Mm-hmm.
They did one.
I listened to some of their stuff, yeah.
Well, I've actually listened to their last 3. They did one on I'm probably going to butcher his name, Sidon Ithano.
The name sounds familiar, yeah.
Looking at the red pirate that's in The Force Awakens that Finn goes to get a ride off of when he's trying to bug out from Maz's castle.
Okay.
So it's kind of his whole backstory, and it's actually really pretty interesting.
We'll check it out.
They did that. They did a General Veers What If episode,
Yeah.
After the Battle of Hoth, that was really good. And there was one about the construction of like an idiot's guide to the construction of lightsabers.
Right.
I think that one would be right up your alley. So the Moisture Farm Report are really good at the minute. Really enjoying their season 3 episodes, and I've been listening to Cold Callers as well. They're a couple of guys from London, and they just do like a kind of comedy show, and they have like wee segments. They do like wee quizzes, and I don't think they're doing like any new material at the moment for that show, but they also do like a Hard Day's Hardest Hats, and it's like they do impressions of Tom Hardy, the actor.
Right. Okay.
And put him in different like TV shows and stuff, and like he has conversations with different people in TV shows, and they do all the impressions and that, so it's quite good.
I do know who Tom Hardy is, by the way.
I don't know. You might have thought of the wrestler. So they're probably the 2 main ones that I've been listening to just now. So give a shout out to them because they're pretty damn good.
I need to get back into checking out the podcast. I've been very busy with trying to buy a house amongst other things recently. So get back into it. The things are calming down a bit.
Yeah, you just had a lot of time watching football, watching 4 goals past your team and that. Blah, 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 blah.
Who are Martin playing in Europe this season? Touche. I'd just like to give a wee shout out to our friend Ryan from Thoughts About Star Wars. I saw him pop up on our Twitter timeline today, so it was good to see your name, and it'd be good to have you on at some point. And we hope you're keeping well.
Yeah, hope he actually gets back into it at some point because I really enjoyed his show. I know it's been a pretty tough year for him, but he did have some good content and just a really good, easygoing show.
Yeah, it seems like whenever we guest on a show, they slow down a bit or cancel not long after.
So I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah. But anyone listening who would love to come on as a guest, we would like to have you. If you've got a show you'd love us to guest on, then let us know. We're always happy to get involved with not being active as we'd probably like to be in the last couple of weeks, but I'm feeling quite motivated for getting going again.
Yeah, let's go. Full guns blazing.
And I'd love to know who the 2 people viewing are. What are you doing at 10:20 on a Thursday night? And if you are there, please tell us. Say hello in the comments. Come on, make our day.
They're probably like, oh, why did I click on this by accident?
It's getting a bit desperate now. Come on, comment. Right. Well, we should probably I'll do the kind of shout out. So we are Seismic Cinema, unless we go down the football route and maybe Seismic Soccer. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Give us a like, follow, all that kind of stuff. YouTube, you can see us, obviously, see our faces, and subscribe. We've got 58 subscribers. We've been trying to hit 60 for a while, and we still haven't got there. So please subscribe if you're listening. You can also listen to us in audio format on Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, and it's rolling off the tongue. I'm obviously a professional by now.
Yep, it was the best bit of the podcast.
Yeah, it just flows the best. Well, I, for one, I really enjoy getting back into the discussion, talking about House of the Dragon with the crab feeder himself. Paul, can you finish off the podcast by reminding everyone, after a short break, of the current slogan for our podcast?
Yep, it's the power of crabs.
It's actually the power of escapism, but you never know, we might have a new slogan in the future. Things are always changing here at Seismic Cinema.
Yep. And the new slogan will be the power of crabs, pinchy pinchy.
Okay. Right, we'll finish off there. So thank you for listening. If you were listening, thank you for watching if you're watching. And if you didn't watch or listen, then what are you doing with your life?
And they'll never hear that because they weren't watching or listening.
Exactly.
Have a good one. See ya.